I chose to teach this because I think routines and procedures in kindergarten are very important. I wanted to show those morning routines and how we get things done in the morning. Without your routines and procedures in kindergarten, you can't do much learning. So if you have 25 5-year-olds, they have to be self-directed, they have to be independent. So I can take roll and do my morning that way, and then we start the morning with our morning circle. So that I feel is an important way to build our classroom community and to have them be really invested and take pride in their classroom and in their school. So one of the major learning outcomes of our morning routine and our morning circle is being self-directed. So that's one of the GLOs, the general learner outcomes. So can they independently start their day, remember the routine, and get to work independently? Another one is the listening and speaking. So are they able to share and participate in grade level conversations? So are they listening to their peers and then sharing and reflecting back on that through raising their hand and participating in the conversation? It's mostly through teacher observation. So I have a little clipboard and I'll mark down who's sharing. I'll do a lot of prompting, and then they self-assess themselves. So they'll use their thumbs up, I participated today, sideways thumb, I could have participated more. So I'll use that. It's important for them to reflect on their sharing. We'll also look at ourselves as a whole. How did we do sharing today? How did we do at listening? Because a big part of it being, intellectually safe and them having that feeling of my friends care what I say is listening. So listening is just as important as speaking. So sometimes we'll write it down. If we have time, I'll have them draw pictures to answer the questions, and then they can bring their paper to the circle and share for those that aren't raising their hand to share. So that's a way to include those different types of learners that might not be comfortable sharing in the circle. So we have our Safe Circle rules. We have rules: eyes and ears on the speaker, share the ball, we sit in a circle so we can see everybody. There will be two parts. So there'll be the morning routine and then our morning circle. So for the morning routine, the expectations were practiced and practiced and practiced. So, we practice our morning routine, then okay, tomorrow we're gonna do it for real. And so it takes a lot of practice. I like to tell them, that I have a job to do and you have a job to do, and that they're very much active community members in our classroom. So they know what their job is in the morning, and expressing those expectations, then they know and understand what they're supposed to be doing. And they kind of, feel it. They want to make our classroom better. And that sense of community, I think, is very strong in my classroom. And so I'm hoping that will come through. And it's hard to explain how you get that. But I think just giving them ownership and giving them the opportunity to be independent and to be community contributors and help make our classroom better, they kind of step up to that. So we practice a lot, and then we have during the circle time, we have our Safe Circle rules, and they'll refer back to those. Another way we manage behaviors is we have our Ohana ball. So we have a ball that we pass around, and the only person that can speak is the person that has the ball. So that really helps manage behaviors, and I'll do little things like I'll sit by the kids that I know need that help, and things like that. So we use our mandated curriculum, which is Wonders. So they have essential questions and a focus for that week. So this morning, to drive our conversation, it comes from Wonders. It comes from the state mandated curriculum. And then as the conversation builds, the kids might ask their own questions, and they come up with their own. So to get those critical thinking skills, they might come up with their own wonderings and build off of that core content of the Wonders curriculum. So right now it's science, and it's going to be weather. So we'll start talking about weather and start with that question from Wonders, and then it might build and change depending on their input. For kindergarten, engagement is I wouldn't say easy, but they all are willing to share. If it relates back to their own lives, they're very much me-centered. And so if they can make those connections of what we're learning about, and we go like this, I made a connection. So if they can relate it to their own lives, then they're more than happy to share what they've experienced. One time I did this, one time I did this. So we're working on examples as well. So I'd like them to share examples, and we use the sentence frame one time. So they're getting really good at it, and they like to relate it back to them. So it's meaningful and it's engaging to them because they can share stories from their own life. I think communication skills are very important for future grade levels, not only first grade, but all the way through college. So they're learning to listen and communicate and participate in collaborative conversations. So they have to listen to each other and then reflect on that and share back and answering the questions. And a lot of the times I'll prompt them and help them and guide them and model appropriate conversation skills and listening and speaking skills. And so I think there's a very important skills to learn for everyday life and to be an active member of society.
And you mentioned self-directed learner as well.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you see that as relevant?
It's very relevant. In kindergarten, our goal is to build them as self-directed learners. For me, it's a big one because there's one of me and 25 of them. So I need them to be self-directed learners. And I also say be complex thinkers. If you have a problem, can you solve that problem on your own? Not only for their future in school, but in life, to be self-directed and self-monitoring is an important skill.